machine shop. Guys, we're going to do a little shop status. We got some new stuff in the shop. Wanted to catch you up on a few things and kind of just cover some things that's going on here in the shop. Well, first of all, if you look at this table here, these are the parts for the John Doe Shaper that's still here at the house. The main casting and the ram is at Keith Rucker's down in Tifton, Georgia. And I got to schedule a day to go down there and we'll start scraping in the ram. But in the meanwhile, we need to start working on some of the stuff here, excuse me, that we got going on. Second thing, if you look behind me, we got the Putnam metal planers in the shop. It just barely fit in here on the dollies, and I'll take you over there and we'll cover some of that in a second. Also, as you know, my plan one day is to either have a line shaft shop or at least a pre-1920s shop, which may include line shaft machines and machines that have been converted to power. And so we got a little stuff there to cover on that too. So guys, as you know, I've been traveling a lot lately. I've made 2 trips to Virginia, 2 trips to Louisville, Kentucky, and a trip out to Texas, and a trip to Mobile, Alabama. Not Mobile, I'm sorry, Huntsville, Alabama. Now, I still have 2 more trips planned. One trip is to go to Indiana to pick up a lathe that I purchased, and another trip is to go back to Louisville around Christmas time. So between now and the first of the year, I've got 2 more major trips, and then hopefully things will settle down a bit. In between all that, I want to go down to Keith Rucker's and start scraping in the John Doe Shaper. So what you see alongside me here is actually several of the parts that's left of the John Doe Shaper. There's a couple parts. There's one part out in the blast cabinet that I hadn't brought in. Maybe 2 parts out there. What I'm working on now, I started working on the device a little bit, and I'll bring the camera here and show you that. There's also a couple parts down here below on the table that need to be worked on. So far, we haven't had to make a whole lot of parts for the John Doe Shaper. We've had to make a couple, and then we got to make a couple more, and a couple of things that I'm kind of tempted on redoing. Brian Block did such a great job on the Shaper that I hate that now we've moved it up to the next level, and we actually want this thing to be perfect for when it goes to the museum out in Lindale, Texas. The name of that museum is the Old Mill Pond Museum in Lindale, Texas. We just came back from there. We had to go to the Land Fest. It was a great event. Got to meet a lot of YouTubers, a lot of people, a lot of viewers, and really had a great time, and it was good seeing all of you out there. Well, look forward to next year. Well, as you know, the John Doe Shaper is destined for the Old Mill Pond Museum. And me and Justin has discussed a couple of times what needs to be done. And actually, Justin's planning on coming here when I start getting down to the bones as far as the final assembly. He's going to come here and we're going to put the thing together. So I really look forward to that. So another thing that's going on, like I said, we've been trying to establish a line shaft shop, or what I'm calling a pre-1920s machine shop. Now, I've been asking for a little bit of support for this. Really and truly, I need to build a new building, maybe 1,200 square foot, with nice high ceilings and a nice sealant rafter system that can hold the line shaft. Right now, what I've got is about 1,000 square foot next door that may make do. And if I add on to the building, I'll add on to the back of the building and move my woodworking machinery in there. It's been a while since I've even done any woodworking. I've actually need to liquidate some of my woodworking machinery. Here in the main machine shop, we're planning on moving most of this stuff out as far as the line shaft stuff. You know, the old Pratt & Whitney lathe, the planer, the New Haven lathe, and the Oliver bandsaw will probably go into the line shaft shop, and the G&E Shaper. So if we move all that out of here, that'll allow me to have more room in here to work on projects, and that'll be a good thing also. But the main thing is either I need to add on to the building or I need to build a new building. So That said, I'm still fighting that back and forth. Hadn't really made a decision. More than likely, I am going to add on to this building, whether I build a new building or not, don't know when. We, like I said, we've been working in here, trying to move some of this stuff along, and I'm gonna grab the camera and I'm gonna bring you over and let you see what we've been doing. So here we are. We're at the vise. Now I've been cleaning the bottom of this vise off. If you look at here in the corners, I think it was dinged a little bit where there's actually a plate that sits right here, a round plate, and it's actually all right. So we've been working on this vise. If you look real good, you can see where the planer or the shaper had machined it originally. Now, what I've been doing is I've been taking a file and just kind of breaking down these edges. Now, this edge was kind of proud, this edge, and I think that came from the hammers over the years. And the way this works, there's this plate sits right here in the middle, and it pivots, and this is what locks down to the table. So really the only thing that probably has never been out in the air is right in here where that plate was. So we're going to either machine this. I'm going to check it out on a surface plate and see how flat it is. If it's flat, we may leave it alone. We have the bull gear here. Now the bull gear, this is what drives the shaper, and it's in relatively good shape. I think I've shown you guys some of this before, but we need to clean it up a little bit more and do some work on it. Now the bearings for the bull gear are right here. If you want to look, if you can see down in there, I'm really contemplating redoing that bearing, at least maybe boring it out some and then putting inserts in it. Really hadn't decided what to do with that yet, but that might be a project coming. This gib, it needs to go down to Keystone and be scraped in with the rest of the process. We have a couple gears here. Now this is part of the line shaft. This actually is the part that has the shifter forks on it. I've already started painting some of it. These colors, I can't get any more of it, so we're probably gonna have to change it. Probably gonna go with, I don't know, black or flat black, or maybe the color that don't excuse the mess over here by the Pratt & Whitney. I threw a blanket up on it trying to get it out of my way, but anyway, we might paint it that same color as the Pratt & Whitney. Now, if you look in this box, there's a lot of parts that we have to clean up, paint, repair if necessary. The original wrench, some gib plates, some gibs. There's quite a few things left to do. A lot of it's just simple stuff though. Back here on the back of the table, we have the main drive gear with the pinion gear, the main drive spindle with the pinion gear on it. Some of the handles. Now I've been looking for this taper pin since I started this project. I knocked it out and it went somewhere, and I found it the other day, which is a good thing. We have an elevation screw. This is actually the ram that drives the bull gear. It needs some cleaning up. It's in good shape though. We have the two top plates for the ram. We have a pinion axle here. This is what actually the main rod rotates on, and we have this system. This piece here is what drives the ram. So, and in these boxes we have all of our nuts and bolts. And then down here on the table, down here under the table, we have the main table, and we have I'd call it the y-axis, or excuse me, the x-axis, or the travel left and right. I skipped my names off. We still need to work on that. And here's a shaft that I really got worried about. I'd set this up in in vinegar to derust and forgot about it. And about 3 weeks later, I pulled it out, and it came out clean. It's rusted back up, sitting in there. All right, so that's pretty much for the shaper parts that's left. Like I said, I've been working on this. This is actually going to be probably the next video I shoot is working on this here. We're going to do some machine work to it and get it nice and flattened and level. So the next thing that we're working on here is, a lot of you have seen this on Instagram, and this is the Putnam metal planer. I did a little video on it when I got it home, and I've been tinkering with it. I actually unloaded it. If you look down here, I got it on dollies, and I've just kind of welded that piece of channel to the dolly where it'll stay in place on both sides. And I got it rolled in here. Now that when it come in through the shop, it barely cleared my door. I actually had to cut away part of the door jamb to get it in here, which is no problem because I'm planning on raising the height of the door. I got to get a couple machines in and out of here that are too tall. But anyway, we've all talked about the color. If you look in here, the green, this was the original color. I'm not sure if I need to go back with that green or maybe find a color that was suited. It had green, it had red on the pulleys. I mean, it's just a beautiful machine. Now I am fighting a couple of things. A lot of the stuff is still frozen up, so I've been spraying it with PB Blaster, drenching it down and trying to free up a few things. And the screws and all look really good shape, but most of them are jammed up. We did get it to move in one direction, but up top, and hold on, I'll take you up there. All right, guys, so we're up top now. If you look, this elevation mechanism is in pretty rough shape. Both sides have been giving me a fit, and I've been trying to loosen them up. So I've been up here every now and then and coating them down with PB Blaster. So we're over here at the Putnam planer, and I'm really ready to get started on this machine. If you look, I cleaned it, chemically cleaned it, and it's starting to get a little bit of, it still needs some more work, but it's starting to rust a little bit on the surface. It's no problem. But we got all the oil and grime off, and just the detail and all the work in this machine is unbelievable. Now it's got a set of gears. You look through all these gears here, this is what drives the system, and I'll cover more of that. We'll cover more of that when we start rebuilding this machine. Anyway, I just wanted to cover it a little bit. I'm just going to walk around it, kind of let you see what all's going on. And the ways look nice. Now I put that table on. By myself a few days ago, and I'd say this whole machine weighed 5,000 to 6,000 pounds. That table weighs a good 2,500. It was all I could do to get it on there with what I had here to get it on with. Now you can see some of the parts we've had to take off to either get it in the shop, or we didn't want to break them while we were moving them. Now the one thing about this planer is it has a clamping system that I'm really not familiar with. It looks like it's a dog system, like a woodworker's table, and we're gonna have to fix something up with that. Either put a plate on it with some T-slots, or make some clamps. So anyway, covering the two projects that I'm working on here. One is the John Doe shaper. And like I said, the main casting's down at Keith's down in Tifton, Georgia. And I got to get down there and work on that some. And I wanted to cover one more thing. So if you stand by, I'll get set up on that. All right, guys. So the next thing I wanted to cover was the generosity of people. Now, in my last video, or one of the videos prior to this one, I talked about wanting to establish a line shaft shop, or primarily a pre-1920s machine shop, where you probably have some line shaft equipment still in there, some converted line shaft equipment, and some modern equipment that actually were factory powered by electric motors. I have a good representation of that. I have a G&E shaper from 1916 that more than likely came originally powered as a line shaft, but had an option for a motor. I have a 1916 Pratt & Whitney lathe that, again, powered by a line shaft, but you probably could get an optional gearbox and drive it. Right now there's a 1910 number 3 Cincinnati mill that originally came probably line shaft, and I think sometimes in the 30s that it was converted to they put in a cone pulley delete and put in a gearbox and electric motor. I have the 34-inch Barnes drill press that actually came powered with electric motor in that era, 1910, 1915. And we have the planer, which is 1850s, which definitely was a line shaft machine, and it had been converted, but it's going to be converted back to a line shaft. We have the 1895, 1880, 1895 New Haven lathe that was definitely a line shaft, and it'll be going back to a line shaft. I actually have a power hacksaw that's outside that you guys have never seen unless you've watched the first machine rescue series. It's line shaft, probably the same era, 1900, 1915. But anyway, I have enough equipment. I have a 1910 Oliver bandsaw. You know, the list goes on. I have enough equipment to produce that shop and keep it pretty much authentic, and mix line shaft machines and powered machines, electric motor powered. So that's kind of the plan. Well, when I made the video and started talking about this, I received an email from Keith Rucker, and it was actually from Neil Tyson in Huntsville, Alabama, through Keith Rucker, and he wanted to donate some line shaft stuff. Now, I had no idea how much stuff he was donating, but here it is. It's sitting here on the table, and I've shown a few pictures of this on Facebook, and I'm gonna walk around and try to show everything. Okay, so we'll start at this end, and what we have here, we have 5 hangers. There goes the air compressor. 5 hangers for line shafting, along with the 5 bearings right there. We have 4 more hangers, and these hangers are primarily for the double clutched pulleys you see here. There's 2 sets of those, and then there's 2 sets of hangers, and actually this is one of the shift mechanisms for those double clutched pulleys. Now then we have 4 split pulleys of different sizes. We have a 5th split pulley, which is, I don't know, it may be 24, 30 inches, I don't know, I haven't measured it. And then we have probably a 10-inch wide by 10-inch or 12-inch diameter split pulley there. There's some multiple pieces of belting. One huge belt here. Underneath that belt, there's several more pieces of belting. You know, there's a belt lacer, and this is the type that goes into your vise, and you squeeze it with your vise. There's some bushing materials, and what these bushing materials are, if you look, it's a good example right here. That's one. That's a piece of wood that is bushed down and clamps onto the actual shafting. Okay. It's just amazing. I've said it once and I've said it again. It's just amazing what the machinist community out there, how generous they are, and I really never expected a donation like this, and I really appreciate it. Thanks, Neil. You guys, it's a good start. I mean, I'm still a long ways from creating it, but I think I could probably get one or two of those machines up and running on line shaft with this equipment. Now, all right, guys, so that's about a wrap for this video. A couple of things I wanted to cover and put out there. I've been working on my channel art a little bit, and we created a new sticker. Now, I put it out there where people can see it. We actually created a t-shirt, and you know, a couple of them got sold, and I really appreciate you guys buying them. And I'm really working on the artwork a little bit more on that. I finally bought a good editor program to do that type decal type work and artwork. Second thing is, and that's another thing, I'm planning on doing t-shirts on all these builds. Like the first t-shirt pretty much did a list of all the builds that I did, and it's pretty much was a backyard machine shop shirt. And I've got a couple of samples of that here. I give those out at the bash, excuse me. And I hope everybody enjoyed them. I had those made locally and kind of in a rush. The second t-shirt I created through Teespring. And wow, it's a shirt that 0748 is the star of. And it basically is a representation of the Pratt & Whitney lathe that I built, and that's kind of in my opinion, that's kind of the hallmark for the backyard machine shop. And we put the artwork on it, and we created a sticker, and here's the sticker. And that same artwork's on the shirt, and it's commemorating 0748. And I hope y'all can see that really good. Okay, so again, I've improved the artwork a little bit, and I'm probably going to design a new shirt. So guys, again, we talked about the expenses and going and getting this machinery and restoring it. This is just another way for me to help doing that. So I'm planning on doing another shirt program, and I'm probably going to use the 0748. And then I'm probably going to do one for the John Doe Shaper. I just got to find the right artwork, and I know I'm going to do one for the Putnam planer. I've already got the artwork for it. I've got to do some editing to it. So when those shirts come out, I'll do a video on it. And I'm not very good at doing stuff like this, and I'm learning as I go. Now, I have some stickers available, and I don't know how many I have, but I'll order some more, get some more ordered. So there's a lot of people wanting these stickers. I give a lot of them out at the Go to Land Fest. And I hadn't mentioned, I've had them for a while, and I hadn't mentioned them because I wanted to do that. I wanted to have them to give out in person to the people that came out to the Go to Land Fest. But now I'm letting people know about them, and I'm getting a few requests for them. And so, guys, if you want a sticker, this is the old style. It's a better sticker. This sticker here I got from Sticker Mule, I think. And then, but it's the older style. And then I have the new style, the old 748. And I don't know how many I have. I have an envelope back here that's full of stickers. It's full of everybody's stickers that I collected that to go to the Land Fest. So I haven't gone through, but I will order more of either one if needed. So if you'd like a sticker, a channel sticker, just email me at thebackyardmachineshop.gmail. I'm sorry, thebackyardmachineshop@gmail.com, and just email me your address, and I'll try to send you a sticker. Now there's a couple people that already asked for them, and I said I was gonna send them. I'm gonna have to go back through my emails and find them. Sorry I hadn't done that yet. If you're interested in the t-shirts, like I said, I have not set them up yet. But if you're interested in a t-shirt, kind of just leave me a word that you'd like to have a t-shirt, and when I do it, I'll put the video out there. If there's not enough interest, then I don't know if I'd mess with I'm gonna mess with the t-shirts anymore. So anyway, again, that's kind of all new to me. I'm trying to just find ways to build my fan base and raise a little money for the projects that I have going on. Okay. With all that said, I'm pretty much going to end this video. Guys, thanks for watching. Oh, one more thing. At the Go to the Land Fest, everyone out there that I met that came up and talked to me, I just want you to know that it's humbling to see people appreciate your work. And like I said, I'm not very good at these videos. I'm learning, got new cameras. I'm invested in cameras and sound equipment, all kinds of things, trying to make a better video. But doing it by yourself is hard to do when you're recording and you don't have a way of knowing exactly what you're doing while you're recording. If that means anything. So I'm working on it. Just bear with me. I've got a lot of interesting projects coming up. Anyway, with all that said, end this video, and thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for leaving comments. Without you, none of this would be possible. I started this channel 3 or 4 years ago, and mainly it was just going to show you some of the machines I restored and stuff, but it's gotten me into a whole new realm of things. So again, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and thanks for hitting the like buttons. And until the next time, from the Backyard Machine Shop, so long.